Welcome, welcome, welcome. Your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen, with another phenomenal podcast for you today. You know, it's Wednesday. That's Bill Varney Wednesday. We bring Bill in, and it's Okuma Wednesday. And I want to thank Okuma once again for being a proud sponsor of your saltwater guide. I've been with Okuma for a very, very long time. And I want to thank everybody over there, Dave Brown, John Bretza, and Gene and everyone else over there. Thank you for all your support for all these years. I really appreciate it. I love your products. I love fishing with them. We'll show you a couple cool videos a little later on, some products, and definite have to have on the boat no matter what. I talk about it all the time, that the ABF series reels, the way that 8-feeder works and the whole thing. It's just a phenomenal product, and we'll show you a little video about that. But gang, first of all, I had Chris Wheaton on here yesterday, and we were talking about the Star Tournament. And I guess there was quite a few people that were very, very interested, a lot of questions. Chris was hot on it after the show. And a lot of you understand how important it is to be involved with CCA, California.org, and how that Star Tournament's going to make it so much fun to be involved. And when you lay that measuring stick out on the deck on a sport boat or anywhere on the beach or wherever you are, it's going to get people's attention. And then you're going to be able to tell the CCA story. So it's very, very important to be involved with the Star Tournament. And like, who was it? Oh, Justin on the show yesterday is like $40 to get in a tournament where you can win prizes all summer long. And then you got a chance to win a boat. It's the cheapest tournament he's ever heard of. So make sure you get involved with the Star Tournament. We'll throw some stuff up during the show about that. But, hey, we got a really big announcement. I'm bringing Chris A. in here in just a second from CCA, and we're going to talk about this big dinner in Long Beach. You got an opportunity to have dinner with Kelly Girl and I again, just like we did last year at SeaWorld when we gave the award to Bill Shedd. We're going to be talking about that for a few minutes before we bring in the great Bill Varney. So, hey, Chris, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, Dave. Good afternoon. How are you?
I am excited, like always. I just love talking fishing. Nothing turns me on more than talking fishing. Nothing turns me on more than stopping the closures of fishing. I think more people need to talk about it, Chris. I don't understand why it's not the main focus on every sport boat in America right now, because I can't believe that they're going to try to close fishing.
Fishing is such, to yourself and myself and so many others, fishing is our passion. It's what we do. And it could be our livelihood. In many cases, it could be our hobby that we want to pass down to our kids. But you're absolutely right. It's super, super important to make sure we're able to actually keep fishing, especially here in a great state like California. Such great natural resources, such a great fishery all throughout the state. Really, it could be separated out into 3 different states with the amount of fish that we have here. But yeah, you're absolutely right, man. We got to keep it open, and supporting CCA is a great way of doing that.
And let's talk about this dinner and this dinner opportunity to have dinner with Kelly Girl and I, and give all the money goes to a great cause. It goes to CCA, and it's also celebrating a very, very important person in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dave. I know last year, back in August, we were at SeaWorld honoring our chairman, Bill Shedd from AFTCO. Obviously super, super deserving. This year, we've stepped it up a notch. We're going for more people, more of a crowd, and we're honoring a very much well-deserved human being in Mark Gorelnik. Now, Mark's name doesn't really pop up too often or whatnot. He's more of a behind-the-scenes kind of guy, but he is just as important, if not more, than anyone else to the fishing industry because of all of his accomplishments. Just a little bit of a background. He's on our state board. He's in charge of our government relations committee at CCA California. He also does a lot of work for all the manufacturers through the ASA, the American Sport Fishing Association. So ultimately, when it comes to issues like 30 by 30, like the closures, like the MPA Decatur review, like salmon, groundfish, all kinds of stuff that are happening in California, Southern California especially, he's really on the front lines. He's right up there with Wayne and others, and Bill Shedd and others on our GR committee, that are really kind of on the front lines, trying to basically make sure that we keep all of our fisheries, all of our opportunities, and protecting the natural resources in our state of California. So, very well deserving of this award this year. We're honoring a great human being. I've actually gotten a chance to know him over the last couple of years, personally, having traveled a little bit with him. And overall, super great human being, great individual. And really, he has dedicated so much time, energy, resources, you name it. He's dedicated so much to our industry, and it's going to be a fun night honoring Mark.
Oh yeah, and my sister tells me him and my father were close personal friends, spent a lot of time together working on all the stuff behind the scenes to keep fishing open across the whole United States, not just California, which that is like our number one goal, you and I, because that's where we live and that's where our children are and my grandchildren. But he worked very closely with my father on the Pacific Marine Fisheries Management and all that. He was traveling all over the place. And yeah, he's a great man to give this award to. And it's going to be a fun night. And the cool thing about it, Chris, is last year it was in San Diego at SeaWorld, and there's a lot of members in Long Beach and LA and Ventura and Santa Barbara. That San Diego trek is a big deal to do.
On a Thursday night, too.
Being in Long Beach is kind of dead center. So I think we're going to have a phenomenal turnout. I think it's going to be a really fun night, gang, and just hanging out and seeing there's going to be a big buzz going on there. The Anthony Shea Lifetime Conservation Award is a big deal, and it's only been given to 4 people so far. So this is going to be pretty spectacular, right?
Yeah, and your father included in that too. He received the award back in 2021, I believe, and it's been great. It really has. You're absolutely right. Where Mark and your father really, were the two of the most important individuals in the advocacy front in the last couple decades. So yeah, he's right up there with your pops, man, for sure.
So this is going to be a great event, gang, and we're going to do something right now. We're going to throw the QR code up, and I'm not trying to pretend like I'm something special because we all know I'm Dave Hansen. I am what I am. I don't know why people want to have dinner with me, but I think it's because I bring Kelly Girl. I think that's the hook. But gang, we're going to throw this QR code up right now, and we're going to do 8 people at my table. And then if we have to, I talked to Wayne already. I didn't tell you, Chris, but if we have to throw in a second table, we will do that. You guys will all be able to make it to this dinner. There's no reason to not be there. So we're going to throw the QR code up right now. And I want to make sure you guys grab this QR code. I know it sucks to do it in the show because it pulls you out of the show for a split second, but you could probably go back and get it. Mm-hmm. But the first 8 people are going to get to sit with me at the table with Kelly Girl. The other 10 people are going to be at a secondary table. Grab that QR code right now, gang, and get at this dinner. Every penny, right, Chris? Every penny goes to CCA.
Yeah. So this dinner, this conservation dinner, is all about not only honoring Mark, that's the most important thing, but also it is a great fundraiser for us. It's one of our biggest ones of the year. And every single penny, every single dime of fundraising that we do stays in the state of California. It does not go to national, it doesn't go to any other special project. It stays here. So, do me a favor, grab that QR code, and worst comes to worst, you can always find it on our website, ccacalifornia.org. To register for the dinner. That QR code is going to take you to a special link to sit at Dave's table. Mind you, just fair warning, if you go sit at Dave's table, just bring some napkins. He gets messy. But it's going to be a great night, folks. It really will be.
And what are the dates? Everyone's asking on the side here. What's the dates?
Yeah. I think those logistics might be a little important.
Yeah, that's kind of probably important.
So the date on the dinner is June 27th at the Grand in Long Beach. I believe it's right off of Cherry Avenue over by the airport. But plenty of parking. Parking is not an issue. It's actually right next to the airport as well. So once again, June 27th, it starts at 6 p.m. So plenty of time to get off work and come on down. And individual tickets are $175. And if you feel so inclined, tables start at $2,000. This is really a great opportunity for not only anglers but for everyone in our industry to get together and to really just be there. This is an industry-wide event, and so if you've got if you've got opportunities, you don't run into them very often, but you've got opportunities to go meet people like Dave and like the guys at Okuma and Promar Ahi USA, both of which have a table or at least a couple tables as well. So we have a lot of friends within the industry that are all going to be there as well. So come on down, register, and it's going to be a good time.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. And then are there going to be silent auction or raffle prizes like there were last year at SeaWorld?
Oh, it wouldn't be a fundraiser without them, right? So we're going to have silent auctions, a live auction. We're actually going to incorporate some raffles as well. We're going to bring back the square boards too. So definitely a whole lot of opportunity to win a lot of cool stuff. We have a lot of sponsors. All of our sponsors have really kicked in a lot this year for this dinner. So come on down. A lot of great opportunities to win. And ultimately, like you said, Dave, it's supporting a really good cause. And this is a golden opportunity for everyone to really kind of support our industry, support fishing, and make sure we keep fishing in the future by supporting CCA.
Absolutely, gang. You don't understand. If you were to sit down with Chris or Wayne or Bill Varney and find out what's really going on behind the scenes, Chris, Wayne, Bill, any of the guys cannot sit down and tell you, because it would, first of all, you would probably explode if you knew all the things that were going on behind the scenes to stop us from fishing, stop us from going outside, stop us from getting a suntan. But if you come to this, you're going to get to sit down with industry people and find out what we're all doing behind the scenes that none of you even know, to make sure that you all get to go fishing. It's a super important event. This is going to be the who's who of the industry at this dinner. And I know last year, being in San Diego, being at SeaWorld, it was kind of unattainable for a lot of people. Now it's centralized. It's dead center in the middle. So you guys from Santa Barbara can make it down there. You guys from San Diego can make it up there. There's going to be plenty of tables. I know that a lot of you don't want to sit with me. That's fine. There'll be other tables you can sit at way far away, so you won't have to get all that mess.
Just make sure you make a note for me so I can put you at the direct opposite end of Dave.
Exactly. Hey, and then the great Bill Varney says he's going to be at the dinner too, so you guys can hobnob with Bill Varney. You can hobnob with the guys from Shimano and Okuma and Iowa and
pretty much almost every brand in the industry will be there. So if you've got good sponsors, or you've got people to talk to or want to talk to and rub elbows with and all that stuff from anyone in the industry, they will be there. So golden opportunity for you to really kind of go have a good night with the legends of our industry.
Absolutely. Bill Varney, let's bring you on here. You're going to be at the dinner?
Yeah, I'm going to be there. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic. Really had a great time last year. It's such a great event, and it's just so fun to see everybody there. It's like going back in time to one of our shows where we would all be there, all the different fishing industry people and the regular angler and the novice angler and the everybody else. We're all going to be there. Looking forward to it.
And Bill, it's a good night to be there with your spouses, gang, because
Yes.
a lot of times your spouse gets left out. You're going fishing, you're doing this, you're doing that, and your spouse is kind of left out. You're going to the trade show. This is going to be a really nice dinner where you're sitting down. People are going to be dressed up. It's going to be a fun event. You can bring your spouse and introduce them to the industry and see what all the buzz is all about and see how important it is. There's really not a downside. It's going to be a fun night. Lots of really cool people. Everybody's in a good mood because we're trying to save fishing. So it's going to be a fun night. Bring your spouse. Tell them the date again one more time, Chris.
Yeah, so the date, June 27th, starts at 6 p.m., ends around 10 p.m. And you're right, Dave. It's going to be a great night where we have a sit-down dinner. The food, our chair, Tim Manaka, and his wife actually tested the food months ago, and they keep ranting and raving about it. So it'll be good food. So don't worry, Bill. But aside from that, it's going to be a golden opportunity to help do your part in supporting the industry, and it's going to be fun. And we're going to honor a great human being as well in Mark Rolnick.
And he deserves every bit of it. No, I will not, Devin. There's no shoe requirement for Captain Dave at the thing. I will not be wearing shoes. I'll be wearing my AFTCO flip-flops. Sorry, that's just how I go. If we got to wear shoes, Dave won't go.
Hey, to your credit, those AFTCO flip-flops are actually pretty remarkably comfortable. I'm wearing some right now.
Yeah, they're an amazing. I had a guy say, "Oh, you're just saying that because it's true." You're absolutely right. I'm saying it because it's true. And I don't wear shoes. I wear flip-flops every single day, all day, every day. I got married in flip-flops. I'm going to probably be buried in flip-flops. And I've never had a pair that's been more comfortable. But gang, please make it a point to be a part of this with us. We want to meet you. We want to shake your hand. You can sit at the Mellow, your saltwater guide table with Bill, or you can sit at the train wreck table with Dave. It's up to you. It's totally up to you, but we're going to all be there, and it's going to be a fun night. And thank you very much for coming on here, Chris, and promoting it. We'll throw that QR code up again a little later in the show, gang. If you didn't get it, there'll be time. And also, if you don't understand the whole QR code, can they call you, Chris? Because there's a lot of people that don't understand this QR code thing. I see it every day.
Yeah. So best way to get a hold of me is actually shooting me an email. It's Chris A as in alpha at ccacalifornia.org. Or worst comes to worst, you can just go to ccacalifornia.org, click the contact us button. My contact info is up there, and we'll get you squared away with sitting at Dave's table.
There you go, gang. Chris, thank you so much. I know you're super busy. You got to get going. Thanks for coming on here for a few minutes and letting everybody know what's going on. And we'll update you, gang, next week on how it's looking and what's going on with the sales of the tables. And I hope to come on here next week and tell you we had to bring in a third table. That's what I'm hoping. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. All right, Chris, have a great day.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Bill. We'll see you guys soon.
Good to see you, Chris.
Yep.
Mr. Bill Varney, your buddy Benny's kind of trying to, his screen's all blacked out. I don't know if you can see it down there on the bottom, but he's come on and off like 15 times on 15 different platforms. We'll see what happens. His screen is totally blacked out. Now he's totally gone. But hey, Bill, welcome. How you doing, buddy? I haven't seen you since I was at the East Cape 4 days ago.
Yeah, long time no see. Good to see you too. Back home here in Colorado, and a couple days before we left, just absolutely beautiful weather, snow melting. I think maybe 2 days after we got home, warm and probably half or 3/4 of the snow gone. And then yesterday, the last breath of winter was here, giving us another 5 inches of snow. So Benny and I had to put off some fishing that would have happened yesterday or today. And we're going to be going out very, very early Friday morning to crush them. But Benny, we got to get him up here. He had a big day on Monday, I think, out there, and just absolutely annihilated him. As a matter of fact, I think that might have been his best day ever, he told me, out there. So it's really heating up out here in Colorado, and I'm sure in the Sierras it's got to be heating up too.
Oh, absolutely. Now he's here. He's back with us. I see his beautiful face there. I'm going to let you guys talk for a few minutes while I try to get this last picture you gave me of the pool at where were we?
We were at Playa del Sol.
Playa del Sol. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, Benny, welcome. Here, you guys.
Thanks for having me back.
Chit chat for a minute while I get this video or this picture up.
What's up, Mr.
Yeah,
Bill?
well, hey, Bonnie. Benny, what do you think we're going to be catching on Friday when we get down there? How'd you guys do the other day?
So the other day we had a pretty epic day. 28 fish hit the net in my boat, and everybody was extremely happy. All the fish were between 22 and 25 inches, with a good amount of them being right at 24. And, that 5 to 7 pound range. So it was on a pretty solid average as far as fish size went. And these fish, they don't show no mercy. I mean, they drop your indicator, your bobber, and they just fight like heck all the way until they make it to the net. And it's not an easy process getting them in the net. So overall, just an epic day. We had a crazy chironomid hatch. Now, for you who don't know, chironomids are a small bug that comes up from the mud. They start out as a larva. And I mean, I don't know how well you can see that, but that's a size 16 hook. And they come out of the mud kind of dancing up like this until they hit the surface. Then they come out of their shell and they fly away. So we had thousands of them flying above us, and you could see all the shells floating across the water. But this is actually what we're using before it comes out of its shell, and they just dance under your bobber there with the waves kind of rocking them, and the fish just scoop these up. And every time you set, I mean, that little hook is just right in the tip of their beak. So we had an awesome day. It's starting.
Hey, Benny, are you using a fly rod or are you using a spinning rod?
Correct. So mostly all fly fishing, although we did do some spin fishing, which I'll tell you about that too. But between 8 and 11 a.m., those chironomids start hatching like nuts. And basically the fish just go crazy for a couple hours just eating these chironomids. About 9 feet down, about 13 feet of water. So we're fishing these about 2 feet off the bottom, I'd say. But yeah, come noon, we got some wind. We call it the W because we don't like to say the word out here. When that happened, we put the boat in like 1 mile per hour, just barely in gear. And we were bumping tube jigs on spinning rods out the back, about 30 feet behind the boat, just tapping them up and covering a couple 100 yards and then redoing another drift or another slow troll, I should say. And we started getting nailed doing that on the spinning rods too. So I got a feeling Bill's going to really enjoy that as well here when we get out.
Oh, absolutely. For sure. It sounds like a blast. I used to love float tube at the Convict Lake and doing that same thing you're talking about. But we didn't get to use 16s. We were using 22s and 24s, and we're putting 3 in a line and just throwing that indicator out there and sitting there and just staring at it all day and just waiting. If it just moved a tiny bit, that was him. And if you didn't set the hook, you didn't get him. A 16, oh my God, that'd be like downtown hash brown. I can actually see the fly.
Yeah, so we were using 16s and 18s. We were stringing 3 flies, one of them about 5 feet down, one of them at 7, and one of them at 9 in 13 feet of water. I'd say 90% of the fish came off that last fly in 9 feet, but a couple came off that 7 foot. But they sink the indicator violently when they're eating these, and there's plenty of water column for them to grab it and pull the indicator down. And what was insane was between 9 and 11 a.m., 13 fish hit the net and on one rod. And it was a 30 to 60 second wait when that indicator hit the water for it to drop. So, I mean, it was just crazy action. It was awesome.
Sounds incredible. Just sounds absolutely incredible. So basically the indicator, when they violently grab it like that, the indicator basically sets the hook for you, right?
Well, these fish are that violent to where if your indicator dropped and you didn't see it, let's say you're grabbing something, you're eating a sandwich, and your indicator dropped and you just looked up and it's gone. Yeah, it's pretty much there. We do still set, but he's pretty much hooked. And what's cool is it always ends up right in the tip of the snout. And a big thing about these flies is, you know, my friends tie them. They sell them for about $3 a piece. Well, when you go to unhook this fly out of the fish, you want to be very careful on the body of it because these pliers will start to rip and shred this stuff up. I think one fly caught 6 or 7 fish before it was just done, and I had to tie a new one on. And yeah, so definitely being careful on the fly as you're unhooking the fish is pretty needed.
Oh my gosh, I want to fly up there tomorrow. I want to go fishing these things. This sounds incredible, just absolutely incredible. I can see why you're so fired up, Bill. Just listening to Benny's got me I can't wait to go do it. I got to go check this out. This sounds incredible. Watch this video real quick though, gang. It's Okuma Wednesday. We got to show you this video real quick and we'll get back to the action.
Hey guys, this is John Bretza, Director of Product Development for Okuma Fishing Tackle. And what I have here is exciting, new, upgraded Alejos 2-speed reels. For all you tuna guys, bottom fish guys, anybody that wants something that's super durable, heavy duty, but you can fish lighter tackle, this is it. I refer to this as a mini Machaira. So what we've done with the Alejos updates is that we've taken the dual force drag system that's in the Machaira and we've mirrored that inside the new Alejos. The other thing that we've done is based on popular demand that we've heard from you anglers out there is that we added a thrust bearing. The same thrust bearing that you'll find in the Machaira is now in the Alejos. So when you fish at really heavy drag pressure, You're going to eliminate any handle binding, and you're going to have great free spool, and you're going to be able to really put the wood to these big tuna. The other thing that we've also done is that one of the keys to the Makaira drag system is a drag cam and the actual ramp and what it can actually achieve from free spool to strike, but more importantly, from strike to full when that fish is in the death circle. The Makaira outperforms everything else, and what we did is we copied the Makaira drag cam and put that in the Lehos. So some great benefits there. The other thing, just like the previous Lehos, you have 17-4 grade stainless steel gearing. One advantage that you do have, even though I call it a mini Makaira, one advantage that it does have is that there's a cast control system. So you can adjust this to real heavy pressure. Say if you're up in Alaska fishing halibut, you got real heavy lead, you can slow that spool down, or you can do micro adjustments for, say, casting sardines or something like that on the West Coast. The new Lehos is going to be backed by a 3-year warranty. This product is now shipping and in the dealer's hands right now. If you want to find out more information on the Lehos, check it out on okumafishingusa.com.
There you go, gang. The mini Makaira. What a beautiful reel. And that's time. The bluefin are here. The bluefin are biting. Yellowtail are biting. Al had a great trip yesterday down to the Coronado Islands. Hey, gang, as a matter of fact, Captain Al Clowers is available. He's on here watching right now. He has 3 people booked for his trip tomorrow. He needs 1 more to go. If you want to go down there and fish the Coronados with Captain Al Clowers, this is your big opportunity. You can send him a message. You can call him. He's on here right now. You can put a message up on the board there and let him know that you want to join him, or you can give him a call. You can simply give Captain Al Clowers a call. And if you give me 1 second, I'll have his number here for you. I know I'm way behind here. I should know it by heart. 619-534-3656 to go try to catch those big yellows down there at the Coronados. And he did a good job yesterday. Him and his deckhand each caught 1 fish. Said they saw extreme amount of fish, good lean cod fishing, good cod fishing, just an all-around fun day down at the Coronados. So give Captain Al Clowers a call and get on that trip. He's got 1 spot available. Then our next thing, I'm sorry, Bill and Benny, but I got to talk about this. Dana Orff Sport Fishing this weekend, Saturday. The Helena has a 3/4 day trip with Anglers Chronicles. They're going on the 3/4 day trip on the Helena. I heard Calvin called me and said they got 4 spots available. You need to call Dana Orff Sport Fishing. It's a phenomenal trip for $85 to go 3/4 day fishing on the Helena. You saw us fishing on there last week for Don Hansen Day. You give Dana Orff Sport Fishing a call at 949-496-5794 and get on that trip. Anglers Chronicles. You got a chance to get on the show with Sergio and the boys and be out fishing with Calvin. I think there's 4 spots available. They're taking 12 or 15 people. I'm not sure the amount. But it's a great day to get out on the water with Calvin and check it out, and call Al for tomorrow. And Justin and Pablo both have open party trips available. Your saltwater guides in full spin, going full speed. So give us a call if you want to get on a trip and go fishing. There's never a bad time to go fishing. Sometimes the fish don't always get involved in the fishing trip, but there's never. Bill and I were laughing about this earlier. He goes, "Yeah, Captain Dave, the fishing's kind of slow." I go, "Fishing's never slow. Catching might be, but fishing's always good." All right, back to our movie. So, Benny, you're taking Bill fishing. What's the plan?
So we were looking at Thursday, Friday, which tomorrow being Thursday, and we're seeing like 17-mile-per-hour winds, which is pretty heavy out there on the open water. So I'm seeing more like 8s and 10s on Friday. So it looks like we're going to be going out Friday. We're just going to be targeting some big trout. I've actually got a picture here, and, you know, as you guys love kids, and, you know, for my birthday, Presley, that's the young man in this photo, gave me this along with a birthday present. But this is the same body of water and the same style of fish. This is probably a 5-pounder. It's not the biggest one, but it was real special, especially for him. And so, yeah, I would show you more pictures, but I don't have a whole lot of printed photos. I have mostly digital. So we're going to be targeting some big trout on the fly rod, and we're also going to be bringing some spinning rods to do that tube jig style of fishing if the W picks up midday, or if we just feel like getting a little move on, because sitting still for a while, it does feel nice trolling around as well.
And then You're saying that hatch is going full speed. When that hatch is going full speed, right at gray light in the morning, it's pretty incredible to see, right?
Yeah, it's amazing when you start seeing a lot of bugs flying, and you pretty much know it's on. Fish are rolling, and you're seeing some pass by the boat, and it's just an incredible feeling. I do plan on getting some film of Bill catching and holding these fish. So in a following Wednesday to come, I will get a video together that does have non-copyright or no music on it, and
Thank
I will
you.
let Mr. Dave play that for the audience here. So.
Yeah, and what'll really be fun, Benny, is you're a good guy and everything, but having Bill Varney explain to us what's going on and how it's all coming, because that smooth, velvety voice, everybody loves that voice. So it'll be bitching to see it come together.
Absolutely. We're excited.
I'm excited about seeing what you guys catch, and then I'm going to be booking a flight, and I'm coming. So get out of the way, Bill.
We look forward to having you.
So what's going on in the surf fishing world, Bill?
Well, it has been locally, it has been up and down. Of course, we've had some turnover of the water. We've had a really wide swath of red tide. A lot of that is kind of, central Orange County all the way to Santa Barbara. And believe it or not, we've had like 64-degree water in San Diego, and we've had as low as 56 in Santa Barbara. So we've had some of the lowest temperatures of water in Santa Barbara that we've actually had all year this year. Even the winter was warmer than that. So that's going to come back. We've got quite a few swells now coming up from, the Australia, New Zealand, tip of Antarctica zone. That stuff will be coming up. We've had probably 3 or 4 of those so far, but we've got maybe one more storm coming down from the north. We've got a cutoff low that's going to hit this weekend in California, where we'll probably see that on Saturday or Sunday. We might get some drizzle out of it, maybe a little bit of rain, but we're going to have some really thick fog, and we might have some wind associated with it. And then once that thing blows through, a big high is going to come in. It's going to warm up in Southern California and really over the entire West here. And we're going to really see surf fishing pick up. It has been extremely good, already, but it's going to get better.
Oh, absolutely. We've had plenty of members sending us pictures, Jason and Matt, Ryan. Those guys are just knocking the crap out of them. They're putting in the time and they're following Bill's plan and they're doing what Bill says. But Bill, you were just over at the East Cape, and I want to show you guys. This is where Bill and I did the podcast from. We were sitting right there underneath that palapa at the bar. What a beautiful setting that is. That is such a beautiful place, right, Bill?
It is so beautiful there. Of course, the weather is fantastic. The fishing is excellent. I mean, some of the best fishing in the world is right there. And then last but not least, in Los Brillas, which is a small town, I'm going to guess it's probably the size of 4 football fields, maybe. They have some of the best food in the world there. The restaurants there, the food, it is absolutely terrific. But really fun fishing down there. Beautiful weather, and it's just going to do nothing but get better. It'll get hotter during the summer, and the fishing will get more hot as time goes on.
Yeah, and you did get to do a little fishing while you were there, right? Even though I know you had the family and everything, you guys got to go check out some cool stuff. You went to the waterfall right there. I mean, people don't understand. We have waterfalls down here. People are like, yeah, waterfalls in Mexico?
It's absolutely amazing. So this waterfall, this area is a national preserve in Mexico, which is actually fairly recent for Mexico. This is near the town of Santiago, and Santiago, you can reach that by paved road, and you can also reach it by dirt road. Of course, we went by dirt road on quads to get up there, but it's an absolutely beautiful pool that you can swim in. The water is probably around 70 degrees in there. There's a bunch of fish, of course. Of course, I'd be looking for those. There's a bunch of fish swimming around in there. I mean, I know you can't take it, but there's definitely gold there. There's a tremendous amount of iron pyrite and quartz. So I can tell that there's gold there. And of course, I know historically, Southern Baja's had a lot of gold. So that was really fun to kind of look for it and stuff, and just a beautiful area. And then when you go to the town, the town of Santiago is actually a giant oasis. And I'm telling you, when the Spaniards rode their horses over that hill in the distance and saw this body of water and the green trees and the palm trees and the coconuts, and I mean, they must have come unglued. That must have been the day of their life. It's really a beautiful place. And then while there, we ate at it was a hotel back in the, gosh, probably like the 30s and 40s and maybe 50s, which back in those days, the airport, quote unquote, which was a dirt strip, just to the side of that, was where movie stars would fly in and stay there. We had lunch there. It was one of the best Mexican. I have lived and eaten Mexican food my entire life, and it was probably some of the best Mexican food I have ever had. It was really wonderful. What a beautiful place. What welcoming people. I really suggest everybody get down there before Baja California turns into, a city like Los Angeles. For the time being, it's less affordable than it was, but it's still affordable. It's absolutely beautiful, incredible fishing, best food you've ever had, clean rooms, just Playa del Sol and Palmas de Cortez, a really great place to stay.
And the really unique thing about them, Bill, is people don't even know, because everybody, Cabo, 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 Cabo.
Yeah.
You go, for me, when you called me, I jump in my truck at 7:00 in the morning and drive over to the East Cape, and I'm there before 9. And gang, it's not like driving in California where you're driving in bumper to bumper traffic. I was averaging 70 miles an hour the whole time in my little 4Runner. There's no traffic. I mean, once in a while, there'll be a cow or a goat on the road you got to slow down for. You don't want to travel at night, because the cows and the goats like to lay dead center in the middle of the road because it's warm or cold, or I don't know why. But for some reason, the grass, Benny, on the sides of the roads in Cabo is the best tasting grass on the planet, because you'll have these giant bulls standing with their butt in the middle of the road and their face on the side of the road, eating that grass that grows right on the edge of the blacktop. I don't know why it's the best grass on the planet, but it is. So do not drive at night. And one of the cool things about it, Bill, I'm over here in Cabo. Traffic's horrendous. There's a zillion people. I jump in my car and go see you. We sat at the pool for an hour and a half. The only person we saw was your wife.
That's right. That's right. Even the bartender left us.
Yeah, he left because we weren't drinking. He was like, these guys suck. They're having lemonade. What's wrong with these two?
That's right.
But then you got to go fishing a little bit in between entertaining the family. So I'm going to show a few of the fish that Bill caught. I want him to describe what they are and talk about this. The really unique thing about that being there, Benny, is you're catching stuff you've never seen before. Even you from Florida, you see just the most bizarre fish, and you're like, what is that? And if you don't have a Bill Varney, you pretty much don't have a clue what you just caught.
Yeah, I noticed in the grouper picture he sent me, it didn't look anything like the grouper we catch in Florida.
Right. What's that, Bill?
That's a Pellini grouper. That is an unusual fish, Pellini, and that is they grow to about 40 pounds or so, and there's quite a few of them around over and near reef areas. You can see a big sand crab, a big East Cape sand crab, hanging out of the mouth of that fish, and not only that fish, but many of the fish are very, very colorful and very beautiful. And as I discussed the other day when we're talking to Captain Jerry over in Hawaii, it always makes sense to buy a fish ID book. Also, there's a couple sites online you can go to, BajaFishID.com, and you can ID some of these fish, because a lot of times when I catch them, I really, unless I've caught them before, don't have an idea of what it is.
Right. And then we catch a lot of these, and I mean a lot. You don't understand, here in Cabo, nobody really bottom fishes. If you take a strip of squid and put it down on any rock around here, you're going to catch one of these. What is that?
So that's a grouper. That looks like a leather grouper. And that's probably about a 5-pounder. Those fish grow to 60, 70, 80, 90 pounds. If you go on the Pacific side, you can see a few that Cabo Surfcaster West has caught, which are some really big ones. And that, of course, is one of the best eating fish out there. delicious. And that one's got a sardina hanging out of its mouth. As I said, the Mexican people are such, when you get away from the cartel, the Mexican nationals, they're such friendly, kind people. They so remind me of what the United States was about 40 years ago. And a young man who was maybe 10 was out swimming 100 yards down the beach, and a bunch of sardina got pushed up on shore by roosterfish, and he grabbed a handful of them and ran down the beach. And although I wasn't real fluent in Spanish and he wasn't real fluent in English, he gave them to me and he told me to use them for bait. So that's just one of the many fish that you'll find out there over the reef, which is within casting distance of almost any beach there.
Yeah, there's just so much fun stuff to do. And most of these beaches, you don't even see another human being on. Here's another cool little fish. I love catching these guys.
Yeah, that is, I don't know. I can't remember what that fish is. Maybe
It's a
somebody
type of
online will
pargo.
remember. But
Yeah.
once again, over the reef, a very, very colorful fish.
Yeah, we call them mangrove pargo down in the mangroves when we're fishing in the mangroves.
Right.
Those
right.
guys are thick. And Lopez Mateos, see how the stripes are on his back? Those, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that's to camouflage into those mangrove roots. They're like laying in there, and the red and the yellow on the tail, that's all matching the way that the mangroves look underwater. They have a lot of that red and a lot of that yellow on them when the roots go down the water. These guys are little ambush hunters, and they got gnarly teeth, and they just scarf those mullet when we're casting them in there on the edges of the mangroves. And then you catch a lot of these all over Mexico.
Yes. And that of course is a triggerfish. And people who love ceviche, that's one of their favorite fish for it. And triggerfish, as you see, it's got a tiny little mouth, although it eats big baits. And those triggerfish, they really fight well. They are great fighters, fantastic fighters. So that's just another one of the many fish that you'll catch down there. And the technique that we use, I mean, in some respects, now that I think about it, it is a little bit similar to what Benny uses with an indicator. So this is a technique that I learned in Hawaii, and something that, of course, Captain Jerry knows about. When I had first gone years and years ago to fishing Hawaii and Brazil, other tropical places in the world, I'd always get hung up on the reef. If I used a Carolina rig or not enough weight, I wasn't heavy enough to get out there. So in Hawaii, I learned that if I used one of these bobbers that you fill up with water, so I use one of these, and a lot of times I will go diving on the reef before I fish there, so I can kind of figure out the depth. There's not big tidal changes down there, so there's not a big tidal change difference, maybe a foot or two. I'll set up a rig where I have the bobber full of water, halfway full of water, so I can cast it far. Below that's going to be a bead, a swivel, about maybe a length of my rod, so 7, 8 foot, 8.5 foot leader, and a hook on the bottom. And then I'll run along the beach and find sand crabs, and then use those for bait. Of course, you can use strips of bait that you can find. These sand crabs, for example, we talked about those before in the past. They're very similar in shape and size to sand crabs you're going to find in California. They are much lighter in color, and they have very long legs, which is unusual. And they always occur in the same place. Very infrequently will you find them on the open beach. You'll almost always find them up against rocks. So where we were staying down there, I had to walk about a mile to find rock structure that was down around the water. And then all around the edges of those rocks, you just carefully dig. You'll find 1 or 2 or 3 of these around each rock. And then I'll just put those in a cup, carry them in my pocket, and that's what I use for bait. And really, as soon as you cast those out, they sink to the bottom. You'll almost always get a bite on one of those.
So it's almost like ghost shrimp here, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. And the reason, Dave, is because, the water's much warmer down there. So there's a lot less bait in the water than we would find up in Southern California, or particularly Northern California, Oregon, where there's tons of chovy. And of course, down here, a lot of sardine. So there's not a lot of food there. And when they see what they eat naturally just hanging in front of them, they fight over it and they go right after it.
Right. Yeah. I still have yet to find a sand crab down here. So I just don't spend enough time looking. I don't know. I didn't know really. I heard you tell about it a couple weeks ago, but it's still hard for me to wrap my head around digging around a rock to find them. But makes all the sense in the world if you think about it. Everything, and they're scared to death. Everybody's going to eat them.
Absolutely.
It's not like California where there's 10,000 of them on one beach.
That's right. Well, California, and all of California, when the sand crabs hibernate in the winter, they will always do it up against structure like rocks, pier pilings, cement abutments, things like that. So that was the theory years and years when I was thinking about it. The first time I went there and went surf fishing was in 1988. So that was 35 years ago down to the East Cape. And I knew that there would be crabs there. I had seen them in Hawaii and Fiji and in Brazil, different places I had gone around the world. And so when I couldn't find them, I did theorize that maybe they're up against structure. And really, the first rock I dug around there, they were. And from then on, that's when I found them.
Nice. Yeah, our good buddy Matt Ryan, he's wondering when you're going to start your section on your saltwater guide. We're getting very, very close, Matt. It's very, very close. This is what it's been all about the whole time since Bill started coming on the show 9 months ago, was getting him involved in your saltwater guide, and we're close. We want to make sure we got enough content to make it worth your while to come there. So we're putting together the content, Bill and I. Bill's working very, very diligently to get some of his very, very best videos up on the website. We want to make sure that there's a value to it. There's a bang to your buck besides the game plans, which are incredible. And you know that because you guys you and Jason, especially, you guys talk to Bill all the time because of being members of the website. But the game plans are probably the best part of the website, and he's going to be doing those. And you have a big event coming up. You were telling me about it before we went live. You sold 35 tickets to your live event on the beach. Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, every summer. So gosh, it's been about 13 or 14 years. Years ago, I was asked by the state of California to do surf fishing clinics on the beach. And every single year we've done them, anywhere between usually like 3 or 5 of them. Well, the next one that's coming up is going to be on Saturday, July 27th at Bolsa Chica State Beach. And what we do is we invite you down to the beach. We start off the morning. I mean, what kind of morning is this? Coffee, donuts, right? Who cannot live with those? Woo. And then about a 20-minute clinic. And then we go down to the sand. We spread out on the beach and we do some surf fishing. We provide you with all of the bait that you're going to need. We have almost all the terminal tackle. You really just need to show up with your license and your fishing rod and your shorts, and you're ready to go on the beach there. So that will be on Saturday, July 27th at Bolsa Chica State Beach. It starts at about 6 o'clock in the morning. Want people to try to get there. We really kind of meet about 6:30, but try to get in around 6. It goes till about 10:30 or 11, whenever you feel like leaving. And we're there right on the sand. So we're going to talk about how to rig, how to be successful in the surf. And then when we go down to the sand, me and my buddies who are excellent surf anglers, we're going to walk in between everybody, and we're going to stand next to you as long as you want and answer all your questions about things like, what do I look for when I'm at the beach? What kind of fish are here? How do I hook my bait? Where should I cast? All of those questions will be answered right on the beach. So we put that up yesterday on surffishtackle.com, and over half of the spots filled just in about 3 hours yesterday. So we'll have that one July 27th. You can go to surffishtackle.com, look under seminars and clinics. You'll find it there. And then we'll add another one probably later this week or next week, which will be in Morro Bay. That'll be on Saturday, October 12th, where we'll be fishing for some really big perch up there and doing the same thing right on the sand.
So, gang, you want to jump on that, because if he did that in 3 hours yesterday, now he's on the podcast talking about it. You can forget about it this afternoon. It will be sold out. I promise you that. Jason and Matt, you guys jump on it. Matt, you need to take the day off that day. You just need to go down there and hang out, and give Bill your support and tell all the people that show up how much fun it's been having Bill mentor you guys, because you two are like surf fishing gurus now. They're catching all kinds of cool stuff, right, Bill? I mean, they are constantly putting post up on the website. I just love watching them have the success they're having.
It's awesome. They're all over it, and I always need assistance, so we'll bring them up the ranks. But yeah, it's really a great event, and of course the proceeds go to CCA. We're all trying to do our best to keep CCA moving along, keep them fully funded, so that they can not only watch out for our rights, but continue to work on hatchery science and improving habitat.
Now, Matt had one question. Then we're going to jump over to my buddy Pablo, who's standing by here, talk about what he's got going on this weekend. But Bill, Matt Ryan wants to know, you've ever had any confrontations with surfers?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And as a matter of fact, there's a section of my book, it will be on your saltwater guide, about surf fishing etiquette. And although we as anglers can work on our etiquette, we can't make the surfers work on their etiquette. So I'm going to give you kind of a little bit longer answer here. So when I was a kid and Dave was a kid and we were growing up at the beach, we surfed, we fished, we dove, we water skied, you name it, we were watermen. Everything we did revolved around the water. I mean, we'd get up in the morning, we'd go surf, and then we would come back, take our wetsuits off, get our rod, and go corbina fishing. So pretty much back in the day, everybody who was an angler was also a surfer, and they knew what was going on. As time went on, and a lot of people moved to California who are not originally from here, and saw Baywatch and all the different shows, they wanted to be surfers. They knew nothing about the ocean or any of the etiquette involved, and who was there first, or where should somebody be fishing versus surfing, and all of those things. I run across people all the time walking into the water with their surfboard who ask me, are there any fish here? And I'll tell you, I have to laugh after all of the sharks I've caught in my life. How many sharks are swimming around below their feet and down there that they have no idea what's going on. So this is what I do when it comes to the etiquette. I have had an instance, just like you said earlier in the comments, where the dude actually paddled out of the whole surf zone, out of the break, in order to just be in an area where he could get tangled in my line just to hassle me. And when he finally did get tangled there, I put into place my rule that I generally use when it comes to surfers. If I'm fishing and I've been there maybe 2 hours before they even got there, and they decide that they're going to walk out right in front of me where my line is, I'm just going to reel in and wait for them to leave. What's going to happen is they're going to paddle out, and because there's a long shore current, within a few minutes, they're going to just slide down the beach, either to my right or to my left, and I can cast out and be back to fishing my spot again. If it gets crowded there, I can always walk down the beach and find another spot to fish. Normally, if you're there early in the morning and you're there particularly in the evening, you won't have any problem with surfers. And there's no such thing as I was there first at the beach. If they get in your way or there's a group of them there, it's better not to have a confrontation and just move on. Just wait for them to float away or move on to a new spot, maybe 100 feet down the beach, and start fishing there. You occasionally will run into people who are crazy. These are normally moms, and they will come over to you and tell you that, you're going to hook their kid. Of course, these hooks we use, these tiny hooks, number 4 hook, a very small hook, very unlikely, but you can hook their kids, or you're going to wrap your line around them, or something like that, or you're hurting the fish and all that. I generally just try to keep quiet and just reel up and move on. That's really the best plan.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And these people aren't from around these here parts, so they're already come to our state, and they've already decided that they're going to change what we've been doing our whole lives. There's no way around it, Matt, Jason. The best thing to do is, like Bill said, just move on, because you're not going to win. And it's your day to go fishing. It's supposed to be a calming effect on you get into harassment they're not going to give up. They're already pissed off. They made horrible decisions in their lives, and they're not happy with where they are at, you're not going to change that. The best, and it's going to start to affect your day. And why would you allow anybody to affect your day? Just like I say, you guys have no idea. If you were to go onto my social media platforms and look at the thousands and thousands and thousands of comments, and I get 30,000 plus comments a month of the most vile stuff you've ever read in your life, your head would explode. There's no reason to get engaged with these people. I love them. I tell them thank you very much, and I push another wheelbarrow into the bank. But you're not going to win down on the beach, Matt. You know that more than anybody. You deal with these lunatics every single second of every day. And yeah, is there a law in California? There is no law in California anyway anymore for anything except fishing. We're the only people that get prosecuted anymore, fishermen. But hey, Pablo, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. How was the dentist appointment?
So I pushed it back till tomorrow morning. My morning got away from me.
All right. So what's going on? You got some trips this weekend? You going fishing? What's going on?
Yeah, I've double booked this weekend, but Monday's still surprisingly wide open. Maybe people don't want to go because it's a day with a lot of avid water goers in the harbor. I don't know. But yeah, I just got a report back from Caden and Noah that are out on the Cape Elizabeth, and they hooked up yellowtail just now at the island.
Oh, nice.
And they're kind of scouting it out. The weekend we're going to be going out there Saturday and Sunday, and turning on, man. It's just they're pushing up, and it's getting better. That red tide, funky red tide, is gone. Water's getting warmer. It's like 64, 65, and yeah, it's just ready to switch on. If one of you guys, like Captain Varney there, maybe flip the switch for us at full speed, that'd be great. But we're almost there. I think it's going to just get better from on out.
So, gang, give Pablo a call if you want to get out with him. Pablo, give him your number. Let him know how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, it's 619-431-3070, FernandezCharters.com. And I'd love to come out as a guide for you on your boat or take you out on one of my boats. And it's looking to be a great weekend and a great week up ahead, and full speed ahead from here on out.
Absolutely, gang. Give Pablo a call. He's getting booked up quick, just like Justin and everybody else. So make sure you get on it as quickly as you possibly can. Pablo, thanks for jumping on here with us real quick. I'm going to go back to asking Bill a couple questions. We're about to run out of time, but Pablo, I wanted to get you on here and get you involved in this and make sure that you get booked up. We got to take care of our community, gang.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, Captain Dave, and good to see you all. And goodbye to all Water Guide members. I'll see you probably Monday.
Good luck, and follow Pablo on his social media, gang, because he's very active and he's always letting you know what he's doing out there on the water. So get on it. Bill, we have a great question right here, right now. Always a great show when Bill's on. Bill, when is he going to be in Carpinteria?
I love Carpinteria. It is one of my favorite places to surf fish and to have clinics. And just a little overview before I go into when I'm going to be there. Carpinteria traditionally has been known as one of the best surf perch spots along the California coast. What mistake most people make up at Carpinteria is they just park in the parking lot, a beautiful parking lot inside the kiosk there, and hike straight down to the sand and go fish right there. And although there are lots of palm size, maybe 12-inch at the biggest, barred surf perch along there, and tons of sand crabs, you'll find plenty of free bait there. If you hike down to the south, so it'd be to the left or to the south of Carpinteria State Beach, you will see a oil pier down there. Right before and really after the oil pier, there's a number of rocks offshore that at a medium tide you can cast to. And there are 12 to, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some 20-inch barred perch right against those rocks. So that in itself is phenomenal. But what's really good is when the water really heats up in the south down in San Diego, and it moves all the fish toward the north because they're looking for food. When you get into August and September, that's when the big corbina and the yellowfin croaker, they flood into Carpinteria State Beach there. And once again, if you go a little bit south toward the pier there, maybe halfway between the camp area and where the pier is, where there's two little bays, you'll find some fantastic corbina fishing there. And I've got corbina in the 7-pound range in that zone in August. So Carpinteria,
Wow.
fantastic place to go fishing. Usually have it pretty much to yourself. Over the years, we've had quite a few clinics up there. The warden there, Dave, is off now. I haven't been able to get a hold of him in the past month or so to get my permit for up there. So I'm working on that, and hopefully we'll get up into Carpinteria sometime later this summer. So really looking forward to it. One of the most beautiful places to go. Fantastic place to camp. And one last thing about camping there, which is totally awesome, is that you can camp there right on the beach, but you don't need to take a bit of food with you, because within probably a 5-minute walk of the beach is Main Street Carpinteria. And you've got everything from burgers and shakes to sushi and Italian food right at your feet. It's a great place to camp.
Sounds incredible. But you don't know when you're going to be back up there again.
Yeah, I don't know the date yet. I'm thinking hopefully in later August would be my goal.
All right. And that means that's when the fish are biting up there, gang. If
Right.
that's when Bill's going, there's a big reason why, because there's no reason to go when it's not going to be as good as it can be. So make sure you get together with Bill. If you got any questions or anything, he stays very much on the comments on here. If we didn't get to your questions, don't feel bad. We're not ignoring you. There's a plethora of questions. Whenever you're on here, Bill, it blows up. There's so much going on. It's just, I'm looking right now on, Bill, you won't even believe this. Right now, we have over 4,000 people have watched this show live today. Over 4,000.
It's because of Benny. It's because of Benny, because he's such a good-looking guy. It can't be because of me.
That's what Devin Cruz's girlfriend's saying. That Benny boy, he sure is a good-looking young lad. Yeah, we'll take him fishing. Absolutely. Okay, so let's see. We got Goleta, Old and Pier, mooring cans, white sea bass migrate through yearly, the kelp. Okay, cool. And listen, gang, we got 3 things going on. We got Al Clowers needs one more person for tomorrow. So look, I'm going to throw the QR code up. If you want to go yellowtail fishing with Captain Al, he's going tomorrow if he gets one more person. So get a hold of Captain Al. There is his QR code. There's his phone number, 619-800-3474. Let's get Al out there. Let's get him out there. Let's get you guys on some of that yellowtail. Like Pablo just told you, his family's out fishing on their boat because Pablo was supposed to go to the dentist, but it sounds like he did what I do. The last thing we ever want to do is go to the dentist. So he got too busy today and had to push it back. So they're catching some yellowtail on Pablo's boat. But give Al a call. He needs one more person to get off the dock tomorrow. Let's go. Let's go catch a yellow with Al. And then my good buddy, Justin Botrell, some of you know him. Some of you have fished with them. Justin's trying to put together some open party trips this weekend. He's got a little problem with his boat. He's in the middle of the engine room right now working on it. That's why he didn't join us to say anything. But you can go fishing with Justin at 951-703-9442. He's got that open party thing set up for the weekend. And then we got to get the Helena. We got to get the Helena with Calvin Cooper out off the dock. Give Dana Orr Sport Fishing a call if you want to go on that 3/4 day trip at 949-496-5794. And you know what's amazing, Bill? You and I laugh about this every time we see each other. The whole industry, it blows my mind. My phone's going bananas. The whole industry wants to be a part of this now. And Bill, you remember 10 years ago, the industry didn't even want to talk to me.
It's like, how could such high school outcasts be popular? That's what I want to know. How did that happen?
There's hope for you, Benny. If Bill and I can pull this off, anybody can.
Really. But you know, so much of it, Dave and Benny, and you guys know this, it has so much to do with having knowledge, you know, whether you've gained that from others or you've done trial and error on your own or both. We've all done both. And then being able to take that information and make it available to people so that they too can become better anglers, can catch more fish, can catch bigger fish, and have more time for fishing. I mean, that's what the goal is for all the three of us, is to get this information out so people can really get out there and enjoy themselves and become better anglers. I mean, that's what it's all about, and that's what attracts people.
And you know what's amazing? I know I do it and you do it, Bill, and we've been doing it for a very long time, trying to help everybody to be more successful when they go fishing. But the thing that's been unattainable for me, and I'm a fly fishing fool. I love to fly fish. That is my zen. When I'm done, when I was running sport boats and running yachts, when I would go on vacation, Kelly Girl and I would go up to the Sierras and we would go to Hot Creek and we'd get a cabin there, and I could sit on the edge of Hot Creek all day and catch trout this big, you know, big as the sardines I use for bait. That's my zen. And then to set in Crowley Lake or Convict Lake and do what Benny's doing and try to figure it out on my own, because it really, even when you go to the, I'm sorry, but even when you go to the fly shops, Benny, the guides in there, they drip attitude, dripping attitude. And I'm just like standing there and I just want a tiny bit of knowledge. And it's like, they act like they are the gods of the trout and they can't give you poop all about info. And I would stand there and I'd go, look, gang, I'm not going to blow up your spot. I just want to be successful when I go. I'm a fisherman. I just want on my day to go fly fishing. I just want to be successful. So to have someone like Benny on here telling you and I, Bill, how he does it, that is gold. You don't understand, gang. To get that information, Benny, I appreciate the hell out of it, because I just want to know which fly, what you're doing, how you're presenting it. I can go and duplicate it, but I don't know what the hell to duplicate if no one wants to share the information with me. I mean, trout fishing is a very big passion of mine. It's a huge thing. I'm going up. Kelly Girl and I are going to Alaska. We got one spot available for that Alaska trip. Mike Lewis and I were talking about it before I went live. The two of us are super excited. Yeah, halibut, lingcod. We can do that down here. We're so excited about going and catching those trout in the rivers by the grizzly bears that are swimming around, those salmon. This whole thing about fly fishing and learning from a guy like Benny. And Benny, you're from Florida, so you took what you learned in Florida. You went and you reinvented this fly fishing thing. Like Bill's saying, nobody's doing what you and your buddy are doing over there on that lake. Nobody does that.
Yeah, we've been pretty lucky, and having the fishing background definitely helps. And a lot of the things you guys talk about on this show really correlate to my last life when I did live in Florida, between the sand crabs and the sharks and the beach fishing, the surfers, the little nostalgia that takes place. I mean, I grew up surfing and fishing, but yeah, taking it to fly fishing is pretty awesome. And there really is no place that trout live that aren't absolutely beautiful. So everywhere you're going trout fishing, it's just going to be a gorgeous setting. And like you said, even catching those small fish, it's just such a beautiful release to just be out there in the mountain wilderness, and the fish are always beautiful. So whether they're big or small, it's a good time.
Absolutely. And here we're going to go back to this because I just saw this comment, Bill, and you'll back me up on this. Gang, and there's a lot of the industry watching right now. And whether you want to admit it or not, it's okay, because you guys all, whenever I see you, you know every word I say, you know every one of my slangs, you know everything. What is the deal with these tackle stores in California? Why do you guys have an attitude? I'm sorry, you work in a tackle store, all right? If you don't want to be nice to people, get out of the tackle store. You are not that great of a human being to treat people the way you treat people. Those of you that work in the tackle store with attitude, it blows my mind. First of all, when I walk in there and I'm like, 4 guys standing behind the counter, there's guys out there trying to figure out what to do and nobody's helping them. Remove head from rectum, guys. You work in a tackle store. You're not super special. You're not super special. Get into helping the people. Or why are you there? I don't get it. It blows my mind every time I go into a tackle store. These guys behind the counter just think they're God's gifts to the world, and you're not. You work at a tackle store. Stop it. I'm sorry. I got on a tangent, and I know Devin's playing the hymn of the national anthem. But it just,
You know, Dave, I'm going to give you an example. You and I have talked about this a lot. And of course, when we were kids, it was really prevalent to be treated like an idiot constantly. But what are you here for type of question. But Benny and I, I don't know, Benny, when was that? About a month ago now. We went to the local fly shop after lunch. I'm not going to mention their name. And I didn't tell you this before we went in, but a couple of summers ago, I went in there, to look for some flies or maybe some, tippet or something like that. And I was just joking around. I walked in and the guy behind the counter was kind of quiet in there, as it will be often. And I said, "Hey, I heard all about you guys spinning reel sale." I mean, the top of the guy's head almost blew off. He almost jumped over the counter and threw me out of there because I was, referring to a spinning reel. So when it comes to your knowledge, and whether that knowledge is in the fishing realm or you're an architect or a geologist, feel free to impart some of your wisdom on other people to brighten their day. When somebody comes in your store, don't say, what are you here for? How could I help you or whatever? Try to impart some wisdom on them. So if they learn something, they take that, they apply it, hopefully at the beach or on the boat or on the lake. And then they're that much more enthusiastic about coming back to your shop and buying equipment and learning from you. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And you're not wrong. These fly shops, I've walked into that one and had some bad vibes going. It's just quiet. They don't really want to help. Everything's a secret. People take their pictures and blur out the backgrounds, and it's a lot different. There's a lot of granola eating, avocado crushing people out here that it's weird. They call you a spot burner and they don't want to share information. If they're catching fish, they won't tell anybody or they'll give them false information. So it's a tough go out here. So it's pretty rare to find someone that's willing to share.
And Joe Lopez, you're my buddy. I know we're not talking about the good guys. I know there's a ton of them. I have very good friends that own tackle stores that are phenomenal. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the rest of them, Joe. I'm talking about this added, like Benny said, and Bill. God dang, if you got Benny or Bill walking into your store, you may want to get off your ass and walk out there and talk to them. You could change what you make. Those of you that are struggling right now, it's your own gosh darn fault. You're struggling because of your flippant attitude, gang. Lose the tude. You work in a tackle store, for goodness sakes. You don't, and if you're an owner and you act like that, well then, I don't even know why people shop in your store. But gang, when I walk into a tackle store, I can tell right away if it's the tackle store I should be in or not. If you can't even say hi when I walk in, what the hell are you doing there? Gang, we're coming in there to spend our hard-earned money and we want a tiny bit of information. If you're not willing to share, then what? Go do something else. Go be a trash man or go do something where you don't have to engage with humans. But if you're working in the tackle store, the most important thing should be the person that walks in the door. That should be, you get up in the morning, you're like, God, I hope there's some people in there today I could talk to. God, I don't get it.
Other than building your business and creating, forever customers and just being good to the community, I've got a store that was good to me and now we collaborate. I put them in my video all the time. I store my boat there. Their business has gained 50% since I started saying, this is where I go. This is where you should go check them out. And then I go make an episode at the local lake, just catching a ton of big fish. And, they treated me well. I treated them well back. Now there's a great partnership in place. So, I mean, collaborating and just being a good human and a good business owner, it's not that hard to do,
No, it just blows my mind. I was telling Al that the other day when we went to a tackle store. The only saving grace, and it was full attitude when we walked in, but one of the young men behind the counter recognized me. That's the only reason why they all stood up, because there was 4 of them behind the counter and not one of them even wanted to move. And we were looking for Carolina keepers to go do something different. And it was like we were talking Chinese or something, and I didn't understand it. And then one of the kids were like, "Oh, you're Dave Hansen." Oh, and then the other 3 stood up. They're like, you should stand up every time anybody walks in here. What are you doing? But I'm sorry, I got off on a little tangent because it just doesn't make sense to me, because I'm such a people person. And if I worked in a tackle store, my gosh, I would sell you guys. I would sell so much stuff for any of you that own a tackle store, because I want to talk. I want the people to be successful when they go fishing, for God's sake. And I'm sorry, we're way over time, but I just want to say, when I go on to Tahoe or I go to the Sierras, these tackle stores and these trout fitter guys and all this stuff, we're on vacation. We're not going to ruin your spot, for God's sakes. If your spot is so fragile that Benny and I are go fishing and we're going to destroy it, well, then it's not much of a spot anyway. I mean, for God's sakes, we're on vacation. We're going to maybe spend 2 days fishing your spot. If I worked at the store and Benny or Bill came in and I was like, I had a spot where you could go and catch fish, I'm going to tell you, because I want you guys to be successful when you go fishing. That's the whole idea of fishing, is being successful. Bill, can you imagine?
Absolutely.
Could you imagine?
I mean, that's what it's, you make in life in general, you make other people successful, you yourself will be successful. And I'm not only talking emotionally, we're talking financially also. So Benny ran something by me the other day. I wanted to just get it out in front of everybody and see if anybody might have any interest at all whatsoever. He had talked about something I've done in the past, which is to invite or make available to a group of people to come up here to Colorado. We would provide a place for them to stay, and then we would take them out to do some fishing on the lakes, fishing on the streams. Part of that we'll come over to my house. We'll have a huge barbecue and party over here out in the mountains, right in the middle of the mountains. We live at 10,000 feet. It's absolutely beautiful, but we'll really be able to bring you in, give you guiding on how to rig, what equipment to use, and then have a place to stay and a little bit of a tourism around the general area. Is that something that folks out there would be interested in?
I think so. I really think so. Destination fishing with Bill Varney. Oh, come on. What a great vacation. What a great thing. That would be fun. And yeah, Jeanette, I feel the same way. It doesn't make sense to me why they close on the weekend. That's when we all go fishing. You're not open on the weekends, for God's sakes. And those of you that are sitting there that work at tackle stores that are pissed off right now that I said this, you're the problem. You're the problem. The guys that are good, they're like, yeah, I understand, Dave. I understand. That's why I treat people. Those of you that are sitting there going, I hate Dave Hansen. Yeah, because I expose you. That's why you don't like me right now. You're mad because you're the problem. We're trying to save fishing, gang. You don't understand. I talked yesterday, Bill, when I had Chris Wheaton on here. We talked extensively about Laguna Beach. People don't understand. If you want to understand what's going on, and there's a lot of young kids that don't understand how bitchin' Laguna Beach was. There's nothing like it. Maybe over in the Mediterranean, there might be something that looks kind of similar, but there's nothing like Laguna Beach, California, gang. The coves, the rocks, the kelp, the beautiful scenery. Just every part of Laguna was absolutely one of the most beautiful places to fish on the planet Earth. It's gone, and it's gone forever. And we're sitting on the edge of everything going away in California. If you don't think it's possible, all we got to do is look at Laguna Beach, California. It's gone, and you're not allowed to fish there, period. End of story. I don't care. That's not happening. And so to sit there in a tackle store and not be a part of helping keeping fishing open, you guys should, every one of you in the tackle store should be talking about the STAR tournament. You should be talking about CCA. You should have a poster on the wall that they can't get in or out of your store that shows that. Every sport boat, you guys should be talking about it. People don't understand. We are so close to losing the opportunity to fish in California. We are closer than most of you can't even comprehend how close we are. That's why Dave Hansen talks about CCA every day. I don't get paid to talk about it. I don't want to live in California when I can't take my grandkids fishing. I don't want my granddaughter to not get to see all the bitchin' stuff that grandpa done. And my granddaughter and my grandson, Bill, are never going to get to see fishing in Laguna Beach, California. That's a tragedy. I'm sorry, it is. So if you're not involved and you're not helping, get out of this industry. Go do something else. Go dig a ditch. Go build a house. Go do something. But if you're in the industry, you're running a sport boat, you're the captain, you're the deckhand, you work in a tackle store, you got to get involved in CCA California. And if you're boating for that other party, then you're not really a fisherman or an outdoorsman. I don't care. We're at the point now, like Mike Lum said, Bill, where we're begging. We got to beg now. We got to beg for you to help us keep fishing open. What a sad tragedy that is. That you don't all understand how important it is and how close we are. Dave Burris, you're in the hospital? Oh, my God. I got to get that backstory. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm super passionate about fishing, and I don't want to lose it. Benny, can you imagine not getting to fish that lake? You guys are having so much fun fishing.
Yeah, that's a pretty terrible thought. There's a lot of water out here and there's enough fish to go around that I just feel like we need to definitely push the sport and get the youth in. And yeah, the more regulations, and there is a lot of stuff that makes it hard for us to get out there and actually get the sport going because of, all, the regulations in place and the secrecy of not wanting to share the sport. So it's a tough one.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Recreational fishing has never been a problem. It's doesn't even have an effect of the population of the fish, no matter how good. Even if you're Bill Varney and they're that great of a fisherman, he goes to those same surf fishing spots, Carpinteria, wherever. You catch fish when you go there, right, Bill? They're not gone.
Every time. There are so many fish in the ocean in general, but there are so many surf fish. If you went back in time to when I started in the early 60s, it's actually gotten better since then because of the water quality has improved, and they've opened up all these estuaries and dredged them out and allowed areas for surf fish and really inshore fish to go and spawn and to feed in the winter and then come out in the summer along the beach. So it's absolutely fantastic. It gets better every day. But the thing is, there's a lot to know about being good at being an angler, and the better angler you are, the more fish, the bigger fish that you'll catch. There's no question about that.
And it's all about understanding conditions, wave action, tide, your calendar is Mike Lewis and I talked about it before. Yeah, you can go on the internet, pull it up and do this and do that and look at something on the internet and look at tide, but nothing better than turning around and seeing Bill Varney's calendar on your desk and go, tomorrow's going to be a bitchin' day. Look at these two giant tide swings. There's going to be 2 opportunities to whale on the fish tomorrow. That's pretty good. That's pretty spectacular. If you don't have Bill's calendar, I would definitely say, look at even Benny's got it, and he ain't even near the ocean. He's got Bill's calendar. That's right. Because there's some bitching. Right. There's some great info besides the tide part of it. There's great info in there. There's epic pictures. And if you guys go to the event that he has in July, there's a good chance you catch a big whopper fish. He may be in the calendar next year. You don't know.
That's right. That's right. We're always looking for photographs for the calendar. Some of the rules is, we want to have the light in the subject's face. We don't want to have any blood on the fish. And most importantly, we want the angler to have a smile on their face like they're enjoying themselves. I know that all of you look at some of these pictures that you see in Western Outdoor News, Pacific Sport Fishing Magazine, and so on and so forth, that looks like the people have hemorrhoids. We want people to smile and to look like they're having a good time. So, and photography, we go through thousands of photographs to come up with 12 top photographs. And we're lucky because we have some of the databases of some of the greatest photographers out there. Bill Boyce, Jack Nielsen, I mean, the list goes on and on and on of all these great photographers, but we're always looking for people from the outside with a great photograph. And feel free to forward those to me. fishthesurf@mail.com. We're always looking for new photographs out there every single year.
Absolutely, gang. Don't miss out on this dinner opportunity to have dinner with Kelly Girl and I and Bill Varney at the Grand in Long Beach. What's the date again, Bill?
It's the 27th, I believe, of June. It's a Thursday night in Long Beach. And if you go to ccacalifornia.org, you'll be able to click on their events and see exactly where it is, buy your tickets. You can even send a note to Chris and tell him what table you want to sit at.
Yep. And you can be as far away from me or as close to me as you want to be. It's up to you. But there's the QR code for those of you that want to join us for the dinner. Bill, Benny, always a phenomenal show when you guys are on here. So much engagement, so many people. You will be blown away when the two of you go back and look at the comments. I think we're at like 250 comments right now. It's absolutely mind-boggling. We are involved in this 100%, gang. The three of us want to save fishing. We're on a mission to save fishing, and I need all of you to help. Bill and I, we need you guys to get involved. Like Bill says, he doesn't understand why more and more people in the industry don't talk about CCA. It just blows my mind. So get involved in this star tournament too. Bill, how fun is this going to be? The star tournament is going to make it so much fun.
It's such a fun tournament. You know, what's so great about this tournament is that so many tournaments are really competitive and it's about the biggest fish that you can catch and all that. That's not at all what the Star Tournament's about. There is a large number of prizes that are going to be given away not only at the end, but during the fishing season, which is holiday to holiday. And all you need to do is sign up for it. You'll get a measuring device. You'll have an app on your phone. You just take a picture of your fish. As long as it fits in the minimum size category, you're into that week's fish for the week. And there's going to be a drawing and you'll be winning. And then the people that are the winners of those drawings will go into the bigger drawing at the end of the year, all the way for a beautiful boat. Now, this boat, this Parker, that is from West Coast Marine, this was a boat that it was a model that was a bit different than that in the past. And they went in and they said, you know, I think you should make these changes to it. You should make this a little bit wider and this longer and this lighter. And Parker did that. And this is a brand new special boat. So whoever ends up winning this, they better take me fishing because this is some kind of special deal. So get involved with CCA California, join CCA California, be part of the Star Tournament. If you're going to be fishing this summer, you might as well be a partner of the Star Tournament. It's only $40. And once again, all of that money goes to CCA California to help not only with angler advocacy, which they do every single day to keep you fishing, but also with habitat enhancement and with continuing the science that we need for the hatcheries. And I know Dave talked about this the other day a little bit. For years, the whole way that this hatchery enhancement was set up through the Department of Fish and Wildlife was to return the heads, take the tag that was in the head and take that information and find out if this hatchery work that's being done at Hub SeaWorld in San Diego was really worthwhile. That was a super inefficient way to do it. So Bill Shedd and his family, Bill is such a fantastic friend of mine and a great person, came forward and said, let's do some real science. I think they got the University of Florida to do the science where they use DNA testing in order to see if these fish came from the hatchery. And what did they find? The Department of Fish and Wildlife said that something like 10 to 15% of the white sea bass taken off California coast were from the hatchery. When the correct DNA science was done, I think we found it was 70 to 80% of those fish. So there's no question it works. I mean, if you're an angler and you were like me and you would go white sea bass fishing in the 60s and 70s, I caught one legal white sea bass. If you go today, you got a chance at a 70, 80 pounder out there and a whole boatload of them. So it has really improved over time. And becoming part of CCA, joining the Star Tournament, all of that helps to provide more fish through our hatcheries to the West Coast. And they're working on halibut. They've got halibut there in there they're testing, and they have now had yellowtail in there for about 10 years that they're also working on from a hatchery science perspective. So support CCA.
And then I don't know if you listened to Chris Wheaton yesterday, but the state of I'm sorry. It's almost impossible for me to say it. We are spending our money, fishermen. That enhancement stamp is what is used to finance the hatchery program. The enhancement stamp, most people don't know what it's for. It's to fund the hatchery program. So we are funding our own fishery. We are funding the hatcheries. The state of California wants to shut it down. And it doesn't make I don't even know, because now it leaves the narrative of caring about the fish and caring about the environment. Now it's, why do we want to shut down a hatchery program that 1000% works? The science has been discovered that the science wasn't real before. Now we know that it's 70 to 80% of these fish are hatchery fish. Why do they want to shut that down? Doesn't make any sense.
It makes absolutely no sense. And what I think a lot of people don't realize is that the Department of Fish and Wildlife is not interested in closing fishing down. Their job is to enforce the laws. The laws that they enforce are put together by the Fish and Game Commission, who's different, and whoever they appoint, and of course, whoever the appointee is. So if Gavin Newsom is appointing people to the Fish and Game Commission who are anti-fishing or anti-recreation, that's going to trickle down to the level of the Department of Fish and Wildlife, whose job it is to enforce those laws. I guarantee you, knowing quite a few of the wardens, they're anglers, they're hunters, they're outdoors people. They're not interested in closing fishing down. They're just trying to do their job. And as long as we do our job with not only voting correctly, but in trying to influence the decision makers to do the right thing, the Department of Fish and Wildlife will have the tools that they need to keep fishing open and allow anglers to have a good time while they're out there.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. I get too emotional. I get way too emotional when we're talking about it, because it just doesn't make sense to me, and I can't even comprehend what they're doing. But we had quite a few people that said yes, they would be more than interested in coming fishing with you and Benny. And Matt Ryan, you keep posting your pictures on our website, yoursaltwaterguide.com, on the community. Believe me, Bill's gathering those up. Also, Jason, you're doing the same thing. Bill doesn't let any of that stuff slide. He calls me, tells me, texts me. He goes, oh, look at the guys are having another great day of fishing. It turns just like me when I see you guys posting pictures of your rockfish or your lobsters or your tuna or your yellowtail or your halibut. That I eat that up. When Bill sees you guys post your pictures of your fish on the beach, it does it for him. It gets him through whatever garbage is going on that day. He goes, oh, well, I'm doing something cool, because look at Matt Ryan caught a whole bunch of fish. Look at Jason Cutter fished all night, fly fishing. I'm doing something right. It gets us through our day. It gets us through whatever challenge, whatever dragons we got to fight. Those pictures mean a ton to us, a ton. So keep posting them on the website. Bill's going to be a part of this thing faster than you understand, Matt, and everything that you do, we watch all the time. So we're way over. I'm going to have to pay Bill and Benny overtime today. Thank you guys very much for being a part of the show. All of you that watch every day, and those of you that have been sharing, the original people that have been watching, we were usually getting 500-600 views a day on Facebook. Now we average 8,000 views a day on Facebook. It's because of all of you sharing and liking and turning your friends onto this great podcast. And I appreciate everything you all do for us. So thank you very, very much, every one of you. Hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button. It all matters. It all helps push the algorithm, which I don't know anything about, but Elliot tells me that it's all working together and you're helping us tremendously. So thank you all very much, Bill. Benny, thank you for being a part of the show. I cannot wait to see what you guys put together on Friday, and I know I'll get some pictures, and we'll see you Wednesday on the show, Bill. Thank you.